We are live with Lunch Break Live. We've got Jill, the Veggie Queen. What are you holding there?
Well, I'm holding my favorite summer squash, which is called Costata romanesco, and I'm holding two Nebardini bianco mushrooms because I'm a mushroom lover. And I'm going to be using my Instant Pot in just 1 second. So awesome. I am going to be cooking black lentils in the bottom of my pot, and I'm going to be cooking quinoa in the top of my pot. So I'm just going to start by putting them in. I'm doing a cooking called pot in pot. So let me put my water in. So I have a half a cup of black lentils. I have 1 cup of water, and then I'm going to put in the other ingredients, which I may have grabbed beforehand, but I didn't. So I have 1 teaspoon of dried organic minced onion and a half a teaspoon of dried organic minced garlic and 1 bay leaf. And so I'm going to put the lentils in. And here's the really exciting part. I pulled out my rack. I'm putting my rack in. Oh, and I forgot to pull out my bowl. So let me do that just here for 1 second.
Yes, you are just joining us. We are live on Lunch Break Live with JaneUnchained.com, where we have printable recipes, hundreds of them. Head on over to JaneUnchained.com, but we are a daily show called Lunch Break Live. Ooh, Dr. Jill, take it away. Yes.
Okay. So what I have quinoa that I have rinsed. It's tricolor quinoa. And sometimes I just blend the regular quinoa with the red quinoa. I'm not that big a fan of the black, but there's not much in here. And I have a half a cup of quinoa and a half a cup of stock that I made in my Instant Pot. And this is going in. My Instant Pot is going on. It's on sealing, and I'm turning it on for 6 minutes. And that is that. I am done with that part, and it will cook. And for those of you who don't have an Instant Pot, it is remarkable for whole food plant-based cooking. It's remarkable for any cooking, but if you're eating whole food plant-based, this is going to be your savior here. Some people don't like it, but it works for me, and I have used it for quite some time. So I'm going to tell you when I'm going to put in my vegetables. So what I'm going to be doing is building a Jilly Bowl. This is actually my first Jilly Bowl ever, except that I make one almost every day. And I am a huge fan of opening my fridge. Well, actually, I'm a huge fan of batch cooking. So what I do is I open my fridge and I go, oh, look what I have. I have a cooked Japanese white sweet potato. Oh, I have a purple sweet potato. This is one of those Stokes purple sweet potatoes. And they're cooked. And all I have to do is open my fridge and I'm like, oh, I've got all kinds of things here. And if you're from the East Coast, I don't know if it's just New York or the East Coast. It's like Chinese restaurant, one from column A, one from column B, whatever it is. I love to make bowls and I love to combine them. And I showed you my bowl, but I'm going to show you my real bowl. I eat all my food that is bowlable, which is a new verb, in this bowl every day. I have been doing this for at least 15 years. And one of the things about it is that I know how much I've eaten. So I can have 2 bowls, I can have 3 bowls, but honestly, usually 1 to 2 bowls is enough. But it's my portion control, which I absolutely love. And this bowl was made by a potter, and it's my bowl.
Love
so
it.
What I want to tell you.
This is amazing, everybody. If you're just joining us, she is making Jilly Bowl. She's making a Jilly Bowl. It's her own signature bowl, everybody. But as you can see, we're having vegetables and lentils and deliciousness. Take it away. What are you holding?
This is a very special thing. It's only around this time of year. These are green garlic. And it's the garlic before it forms a bulb. So here's the actual bulb when it's dried, but you can see how little it is here. So this is the green part. The nice thing about green garlic, and I'm also going to use a spring onion, which I'm just looking for where I put it, but I don't see it at the moment. It may turn up. is you can use the whole thing from the bottom to the top. So I'm going to cut this up. This is going to go into the vegetables. And so it's milder than regular garlic. And I'm peeling off some parts that don't look especially yummy. And those will go into my stock. So I mentioned I made stock. I have a little stock here, but this is green garlic. Often it will come with tops. There's also a hardneck garlic that has scapes. And so a lot of people have seen these. They're like round and they sell them in bunches. And this is the time of year to get green garlic, spring onions, and the other alliums. These are all alliums, and alliums are amazing for you because they have sulfur compounds in them. So whenever I can get this, I use it. It's really yummy. So what I'm going to do is just cut it up. The bottom part actually will go right into my stock. So what I'm going to do is just cut this into pieces and put that into my Instant Pot. So what I'm going to do is turn on my Instant Pot, and I'm going to turn it on saute because it needs that.
Great. Now, everybody, just in case you do not know this yet or didn't get a chance to read earlier, Jill is a registered dietitian nutritionist. She is a culinary educator and a cookbook author for more than 30 years, y'all. She's been teaching healthy and plant-based cooking. She retired in 2019, but you can tell she hasn't stopped. She was working at the Santa Rosa Junior College, and after 30 years of teaching in the culinary department, she started her business, or alongside, she started the Veggie Queen. So we have the Veggie Queen and all your knowledge with us. Are you saying that you make your own broth? Take it away.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I could get my bag, but it's a little over there, so I'm not going to. I save the ends and scraps of many vegetables. And what I do with those is I make stock about once a week. I put them in my Instant Pot, usually till about halfway, cover it with liquid, turn it on for 5 minutes and let it sit. I usually throw in a bay leaf, maybe some thyme, little parsley, and I just let that cook. I do not put in cruciferous vegetables because those have compounds that make the stock stinky. So nobody wants stinky stock. You can put in a little bit, but not a whole lot. So that's what I do there. So here in my, now is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen? It's called Zip Top. And I just got these. I have a special code for these, but it may not be working yet, which is the Veggie Queen 15 for 15% off. I just got these and I think they're the coolest thing. I mean, just like yesterday, they are silicone bags that zip up, so you don't have to worry about losing the tops anymore. So anyway, what I have in here is I have a spring onion, a red one, and some carrot. And this is going to go into my Instant Pot. And then what I have is, that's all I'm going to put in for now. I'm going to let it saute a little bit. You do not need any oil to saute in the Instant Pot. If it starts to stick, you can add a little broth or water, but I don't think I will need that. And what I'm going to do now, while that's sauteing, is I'm going to cut up my costata romanesco. What I want to tell you about this squash is that in the summertime, this is the first of the season here in Northern California. In the summertime, they tend to be much darker green. And if you could only grow one squash plant, I'd recommend you grow this one because it is amazing.
Now, let me ask you, are you growing your own? Are you going to the farmers markets? Where do you gather up your delicious vegetables? Tell us.
Well, that's a great question. I usually gather them at the farmer's market. I used to live in Santa Rosa. I now live on the Mendocino coast. And I used to go to the farmer's market twice a week. Sadly, our farmer's market doesn't start until the end of May. So I got these, I actually was in Santa Rosa and I got these in Santa Rosa. So I got them at the farmer's market because if you live anywhere that has a farmer's market or you can do a CSA, do it because you are going to get the best vegetables that you can possibly get. If you get them at the supermarket, you may never see this squash because it's not, it's like an Italian heirloom variety, and it's really firm and really delicious. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add my 1/4 cup of stock to my pot. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it on pressure. This is the exciting part here. That other pot just came to pressure. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on to, okay, I'm going to turn you off because you didn't do what I wanted. I'm going to turn it, do it.
While you're turning on and turning off, I want to say a few more things about Jill. She helped, I just find this so remarkable. She helped with the remaking of the cafeteria menu at Kaiser in Santa Rosa. So the hospital menu, wow. She also consulted with Amy's Kitchen, which is a drive-through that's in Northern California, one of the first. And also she helps with various projects, including menu planning and teaching cooking classes for the Sonoma County Library System and more. So, wow, also been part of the McDougall program for almost 20 years. Yes. Jill, wow, you come with so much. And we met in Clubhouse. I just love that. Love, love, love it. Yeah. Okay, continue on. Take it away.
Asparagus. This is the time of year for asparagus. So if you love your grass, this is it. So what I did is I broke off the tough ends. Those go into my stock. The rest of it is going to go into these vegetables. So these are the vegetables I'm adding, and I'll tell you why I'm adding them. I have some red pepper for color. I have my costata squash. I have a little bit of yellow squash, and I think that's all I've got here. And then what I'm going to do when this is done, and this will only take a couple of minutes, is I'm going to add the sweet potatoes that I have because I love sweet and savory together. And I am a huge, huge sweet potato fan. At the beginning of a week, what I do is I put a cup of water into my Instant Pot, I put in the rack, and I put in sweet potatoes and I cook them for the week. So I'm not kidding you that I could just go pull them out of my fridge. I love it. It's like I'm shopping and somebody did all the work for me. And I kind of have a way that I forget I did all that work, but it's not really that much work. How hard is it to scrub a couple of potatoes, put them in the Instant Pot, put in the rack, and turn it on? Go do your yoga class, come back, and you have food. So that's like super easy to do. Yeah. And so I love to do that. So I'm going to add the sweet potatoes to that. I also air fried some of those mushrooms, these Nebardini Bianco, and some cremini mushrooms, which I sliced. And I love mushrooms, and mushrooms are not vegetables, and they're super good for you. So I highly recommend that people eat mushrooms every day if they can. Sadly, my husband hates mushrooms, hates when I'm cooking mushrooms, so I don't eat them every day, but I eat them as often as I can. And I think that's important. So I cook them, I freeze them, and then I can just put them into my food. Not like literally throw them, but throw them. Place them in my food. So if you've never had the purple sweet potato, I recommend that you try it. It is, and I want to say this because this is important as a dietitian, anything with a darker, deeper color is going to be better for you than anything that's not. Does that mean I don't eat the white Japanese sweet potatoes? Absolutely not the case. I love the white Japanese sweet potatoes. I eat them. And what is important to know, because people are really into their gut health right now, when you cook and cool potatoes, sweet potatoes, winter squash, it becomes resistant starch. It means it feeds your gut better. So I often have these in the fridge. They'll be cool. I'll add them to my bowl, and it will be fine to have them this way. It'll actually help. So that is electric cooker saying, come do something. So I'm going to turn it off. Oh, that's and I'm turning on the liquid, the pressure, and you can hear that. It's noisy. And it won't let me open it until it's ready. So I am, at the mercy of the pot, which is fine. And what I'm going to do is when it opens, I'm going to look inside and make sure I have enough liquid because I may need to add a little more. And I'm going to add these other faster cooking ingredients. And I'm going to show you a special Instant Pot tip here.
Wow, we are live with the veggie queen who is making the most delicious Jilly Bowl. And those of you, guess what? We have a celebrity in the house. She has award-winning cookbooks.
Oh.
And I also understand that you star in a DVD series called The Electric Pressure Cooker. So, wow, we're getting download of powerful information here on Lunch Break Live. Thank you so much. Ooh,
Okay, so
go
I
ahead.
want to show you, I'm not sure you can see it, but I want to show you with the pot that it actually goes to 0. You can have it at 1, but this goes to 0. So that's really important. 0 is for broccoli, asparagus, summer squash. That is all 0. And when your pot says on, it doesn't mean it's already at pressure, although this one is because it was so hot already. So I'm going to take my sweet potatoes, my Japanese white, and here is another important thing. You can always eat the peel, but if you don't like it, don't eat it. The purple one, honestly, I don't like the peel. So guess what? I don't eat it because my rule, I have a food rules. One is don't eat what you don't like. Number 2 is don't use what you don't have. And number 3 is when you eat something cooked, eat something raw. And I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for that. I have choices.
I love these 3 tips. Yes.
These sweet potatoes are going into my bowl and I will put hot food on top of them. And so sometimes, and because I've taught the McDougall program and the McDougall program is starch-based, I have no problem eating lots of sweet potatoes because I really like them. And as I said, I don't love the peel of the purple Stoke sweet potatoes. It's just a little tough for me, and so I don't eat it. So I'm going to cut that off. And here is another tip. Do not put this in your stock. Do not put the peel of purple carrots. Do not put the peel of purple anything in your stock unless you want the ugliest stock ever. So, I mean, it's ugly. It's so ugly that I couldn't use it. And what happened was I made it and I thought, oh, I'll just make brown rice with it. I couldn't even eat the brown rice when I was done. I was like, that is so disgusting.
Stay away.
And so, we do eat with our eyes. It doesn't have to be, the most beautiful thing in the world. But I mean, I think just this is so beautiful. Purple sweet potatoes, white sweet potatoes, and they taste so good. So now both pots have been making lots of noise here. I mean, lots of noise. So this pot, I just need to wait for the pressure to come down. This pot, I'm going to release the pressure in just a moment. So what I'm going to do is unplug that pot. And what I have here is I have a little food processor. And if you don't have one of these, you may want to get one. I love this thing. It works so well. And I'm going to show you, I'm sorry, my back is toward you, but I'm going to make a little sauce here because everything tastes better with a little sauce. So I wasn't going to do it in the food processor, but I can because I have time.
Yes.
So I'm going to put in some lemon juice. And if you don't have one of these tools and you use a lot of lemon, get one. It is the handiest thing to have. So what I have in there is some pulsed basil. I could put basil in if I want. I have basil right here. So have your herbs handy. So I could put basil, but I put parsley. And I added some fresh garlic, and I think I'll put a little more parsley in there. And then there's going to be a couple of other ingredients. So I have my lemon juice. I'm going to use tahini. I love tahini. I can clearly say I'm a tahini addict because I could eat it every day, but I don't. So I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of tahini to this.
Now, Jill, we have a tradition with when somebody blends. I will tell you that. I'm going to give you the heads up on what we do. We actually have a blender dance when something blends. So I'm just saying, you're willing to dance, move, it'll be really fun.
No problem.
Okay. All right. I love somebody.
I'm ready.
There we go.
All right. I did my little blender dance there, and I'm going to add a couple of other things. So I have a special tamari here. It's from a company called Shared Cultures, and it's a lion's mane tamari. And I'm going to put a little bit of that in. And I think I'm going to add a little water because it needs a little liquid. And I'm going to blend that up. And one more ingredient is miso. And that same company makes killer miso. My favorite miso is South River miso. This is it. This is more expensive than South River miso. It's called Shared Cultures, and they have a cashew modern miso. So this is nutty and seedy because it's got cashews in it. So that's going in.
Now, what is it that you're actually making right now? Is this a sauce that's going to go over the top? Okay. I'm following
for the bowl.
Yeah, for the bowl. Great.
Oh my goodness. So I guess I have to do another dance here because I'm getting ready.
All right, we love it.
Okay. But what I really need to do is I really need to taste this. That is so yummy. I took out a jar to put it in, but I think I'll put it in this little bowl. Because I can't. If you don't have one of these blenders, you could just do this in a little jar. You could just shake it up. You could use, I have a little whisk. You can use a little whisk, but it's quite tasty. You can make it more lemony. You can add vinegar to it if you like. I'm really big on fermented foods. You could add a little sauerkraut or pickle ferment to this, but I think just the way it is pretty tasty. So this is going to go, that's really good. This is going to go right on top of the bowl. So I think we're almost ready for the bowl part. I'm waiting till the pressure comes down. I'm going to give it like another minute or so and take out the quinoa and the lentils that I've cooked, because you've probably forgotten if you've been watching this whole time. You're like, what did he make? So now I'm telling you. I am going to look at the vegetables and see how those are.
Very amazing. Everybody, I just want to let you know that this recipe is going to be available on our JaneUnchained.com site. Well, wait, let's take a look. Give you the solo.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to actually pour them into this little bowl here so you can see them.
Okay, great. And Andrea was just reminding everybody what was going into that sauce: lemon juice, tahini, miso, tamari, parsley, and garlic for the sauce. Yes. So this recipe will be available. Tom wants to know, did you say black quinoa? He's curious. He missed that at the beginning.
I said I use tricolor quinoa. It has a little bit of black, red, and the white. And the white is my favorite. I do like the red, but I don't really care for the black. I think it's gritty, not very tasty. So,
okay, can you show us the bowl again? That was so pretty. We just, let's
take
a look again. Yes.
So these are just cooked. So these were cooked. The carrots, I have to see if they're good. Perfect. The carrots are cooked for 1 minute and then 1 minute more. And so, excuse me, lunchtime, of course. The asparagus is lightly cooked. And you want to see it this color as opposed to gray. The squash is lightly cooked. So to get your vegetables to that lightly cooked stage, you either need to do it on low pressure or low pressure and zero. And that's how you can get really beautiful vegetables out of your Instant Pot.
And it seems that they have a little bit of they're not mushy. You don't want mushy, right?
They're not mushy at all. They're just cooked. And the thing about them is I make a whole thing of vegetables and I may eat half of this, but I'm going to eat half of it again. So I don't want them too cooked, because if they are, they're not going to be good. So I don't usually release the pressure on this, but I have a little pressure on me, time pressure. So let me get this open so that I can get the ingredients out.
Amazing. If you're just joining us, we are live with Jane Unchained Lunch Break Live. You just wandered into the kitchen here. Hey, Christy and Tina, Tom, Andrea is watching as well. I think Andrea might be related. Andrea Joy Nussinow. You have the same last name.
Oh, that's my sister. Hi, sister. Okay. So Here is my quinoa, perfectly cooked, right? And you saw how hard that was. Basically not hard at all.
Hi, Deborah. I want to say hi to Deborah as well. And we have a few others here. Hi, Jennifer, and anyone else that I missed. Welcome, Ellen Canner. Hello. Thank you for joining us here on JaneUnchained.com. We are making Jilly Bowls with these Instapot. The veggie queen here is an Instapot expert. Take a look.
Okay, here are my black lentils. And I have to say, you have to remember the food coming out of the Instant Pot is 250 degrees as opposed to 212 on the stove. So, Japanese white sweet potatoes, purple sweet potatoes, my black lentils. And of course, you can put in any amount that you want, right? So you're like, oh, I really would like more quinoa than lentils. Fine. So I have my quinoa on top. And then what I have are my vegetables, because I am the veggie queen, so I have the veggies. So I'm putting my veggies on, and I want all the colors in there because this is a Jilly Bowl, and so Jilly Bowls require all the veggies. And so that's that. And then I have my mushrooms. So I'm going to put a few mushrooms on, because I love mushrooms. I'm a mushroom hunter. I forage for mushrooms. I forage for wild weeds because I'm a little like that. So there we go. And then I have the sauce. And so I'm just going to drizzle the sauce right on top. Doesn't look as good after you put the sauce on, but it tastes so good. So there is the completed Jilly Bowl. Now, if I were going to complete it and put the cherry on top of the cherry, what I would do is I would grab a jar of my turmeric kraut, which I made, which is cabbage and turmeric and probably garlic and ginger. And I would just put a little bit of that on the top because I like to have something fermented with each meal. And so, and just know that the miso that I put into the sauce is fermented too. So this is a Jilly Bowl. Now, people will say, well, are you going to eat the whole thing? Probably. Although, as I said, I usually eat in my other bowl. This bowl may be a bit bigger, but that's okay because I don't have to eat the whole thing. If I want to eat the whole thing, I can. And if I don't eat the whole thing, I'll have it later. Because you can never go wrong with putting something in a bowl and adding lots of ingredients to it. So this is my Jilly Bowl. First one I formally named. And I hope that you enjoyed watching this because this was great fun. And the pressure was not too much for me because I am an Instant Pot expert. I would just like to mention, I do have a newsletter. You can go to thevegiequeen.com and you can sign up there. And you never know what I'll be talking about there. In my last one, I had wild weed pesto. And I have a sprout class coming up and a fermentation class coming up. So Jilly Bowls for all.
So Jill, just real quickly, hold that there if you don't mind. Just keep it there.
Yeah.
And just so people know, they can go over to thevegiequeen.com to find out about your Zoom cooking shows, your offerings, and more. Yes. And also on Instagram, if you do head over to Instagram, you are at the Jilly Queen 1.
The Veggie Queen 1.
I'm sorry.
But I do like the Jilly Queen. Maybe I should change my name.
Actually, the Veggie Queen won. That's amazing. Wow. Tina wants to make sure everybody knows, hey, go vegan. Look how fun and easy this is. Tom says, great job. Andrea says, yes, she's my beautiful sister. And all the people that were watching here, I also want to give a shout out to, real quickly, I said hello to, I want to make sure we said hello to everybody, Jennifer and Deborah and et cetera, Tom, of course, and Ellen Cantor. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching on Jane Unchained. You will find us over there on janeunchained.com, and please head over to see Jill, the Veggie Queen, at thevegiequeen.com. And we'll see you next time on Jane Unchained, Jane Unchained News, and janeunchained.com. Yeah. Thanks, everybody.